director of the chamber here in Oldham County, and I have the privilege of knowing most of you, but for those of you who I don't know, thank you for being with us for the first time. Hopefully you've had a great time this morning. If you were with us last night, we had a little reveal here in this building, and then we did the Walk of Fame, which you followed a pathway of information and yard signs to rails, learning a little bit about some of the famous women in our city, in our state, in our country, and internationally. And last night was so beautiful, and we've grown that piece of this event so much. It was really neat to see it out on the plaza as you left here to go up to rails. So I'm sorry if you weren't here for that. Hopefully next year you'll come and be a part of the Thursday night activities too, because we have a great time. We had a great time up at rails as well. Before we get started, I want to recognize our staff here at the chamber. Camille Coltrane. This is her first event that she has done from beginning to end. She's been with us almost a year, actually probably this week. But she came Showcase Week last year, and this is her first time. She's done a great job. This is a very logistically detailed event, so she was really challenged with her logistic skills. And Missy Klein, who's our office manager, if both of you ladies will come up, I have a little something I want to give to you. In the spirit of celebrating women and the contributions that we make, I would be remiss if I didn't celebrate my own friends and colleagues in my office who just happen to be female as well, but I appreciate their hard work so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. A lot of extra hours going into this event. I also want to thank our planning committee. Their names are in your program, but if you are a member of the planning committee and you are here, would you please stand and be recognized? We want to thank you for your hard work. Stand up, Vicki. I know we have a couple who are not here with us today. Thank you all so much for committee time and volunteer time. I also want to thank all of our sponsors. They're on the back of your program. If you'll take a second and just see who they are. I don't want to take up time necessarily going through the list when we have prepared this for you, but make sure if you know people from these companies, you know them from the community, make sure that you recognize that they are contributing to the chamber in a significant way and to this event and what its mission is, its purpose. So we are grateful to PNC Bank being our presenting sponsor, Norton being our brunch sponsor here today. Our reception sponsors last night are listed here, and our Walk of Fame sponsors. Everyone on the list has played a significant role in making this event a success. So let's give them a round of applause too.
This table is for the Oldham County Environmental Authority. This is a corporate theme this year, and our theme reflects the stormwater management we handle for the county. So as you can see on our table, we have our little frog rain gauges, we have our watering can, and then of course the gift for our guests, which is a lime green golf umbrella with simulated water drops.
Okay, I also have the privilege of working with the leadership of Oldham County, both in the city of LaGrange and in Oldham County. And it's always a privilege and a pleasure to be with these gentlemen. They've been very supportive of our organization and very supportive of me in particular, I feel they have been. So I'm grateful that they have made time and are willing to come here today and bring welcoming remarks. So first I'd like to recognize our newly elected mayor of the city of LaGrange, Mayor Joe Davenport, and he would like to say a few words. Mayor Davenport, congratulations and welcome.
Welcome to LaGrange. Dean, I want to thank you for this great opportunity to be part of this wonderful celebration. Upon reading, I guess I didn't realize the Women's Day celebration started March 8th in the early 1900s, and became a global day of recognition and celebration. But I'm just here this morning to pay gratitude and respect for each and every one of you and everything you've accomplished. And I just stand here today and applaud you for all these accomplishments and all of them that's yet to come. So thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm Jim Zimmerman with the Citizens Union Bank, and this is our entry for this tablescape competition. My theme is to put it together because I'm the one who did it. All the ladies that were going to assist me were unable to make it, so I tried my hand at decorating. So the theme is get it done. I did kind of keep a little bit of a theme with St. Patrick's Day coming up.
Also, our Oldham County Judge Executive, David Vogel, is here. And Judge, we're glad to have you here. I know you had a full morning this morning, so thanks for coming over. Please welcome Judge Vogel.
Thank you, Nina. It's very nice to be here today in our lovely new facility. Even though the weather's inclement outside, it can't stop a happy disposition and a good celebration here on the inside. I've spoken at several of these gatherings. Some of you have heard me before, and sometimes I feel like I say the same thing each time, but I want to reiterate a little bit of it again. You've all heard the saying that behind every good man stands even a better woman, and that's certainly the case. I have to relate this personally in my own family. I've been surrounded by females for the most part. My father died when I was rather young. But when I get together here, I think of my grandmother who graduated in about 1912 from 8th grade. And of course I have a mother who graduated from high school, who's now deceased as well. And then I have a wife who has a BS in nursing. She went on to college. My oldest daughter went on to college and has a master's degree in education. And my youngest daughter went on to college and has both a master's degree and a PhD in medicine. And I think that's a microcosm of what has happened to women through the years. As time has gone on, they have accepted and met more challenges, overcome more challenges, become more successful in every aspect of life. And we're here today to celebrate you and the success that you've had in business. And I recognize and thank all of you. I personally feel the glass ceiling was broken a long time ago, and we're far beyond that. We're talking about, women as presidential candidates, corporation leaders, community leaders. All kinds of hats are worn by ladies, as Carolyn, recognized earlier. I personally think, in my own circumstance, the title of mother is the most supreme. And for those who are fortunate enough to be mothers, I hope you'll never forget that as your success grows on. In my own heart, the ladies I mentioned here, two of whom are gone, burn silently in my memory every day. And I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of all of them. So for all the husbands who aren't here today, thank you for what you're doing in business and in the family. For the fathers of all the ladies sitting here today, they're all as proud of you as I am of the members of my own family. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
My name is Jolie. I'm with 360 Degree Chiropractic, and the table is called The Perfect Storm, and it deals with sensory processing disorders such as ADD, ADHD, and then just the general health style of the kids, garbage in and garbage out, which is represented by our table. We have got pill bottles, fast food, things that kids can eat that kind of leads to the general lifestyle of our kids, not a healthy lifestyle. The medication kind of covers up the sensory processing disorders. And we believe at 360 that we can help cure systems such as ADD, ADHD, because it all stems from the nervous system.
I'm Sarah Rapley, and I'm with Arbor Ridge Learning Center. Our slogan is growing our community one mind at a time. So obviously we have things for growing. We think that, you know, if you're constantly growing and constantly learning, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We have flower pots and flower seeds, and of course our tree, which is part of our logo.
We are on to the first thing in our program, which is our SWAN Award, our SWAN Awards. This is something we started last year. It's Successful Women Achieving Notoriety. This is something that is important to us because there are a lot of women working in your businesses behind the scenes that don't necessarily get to come out to events like this. Maybe their role in the workplace is not about that. And so this was a way for you to give an atta-girl to some women in your workplace that you think are making a significant difference in changing the lives of the people that they work for and work with. This year we have 2 people we want to recognize, and you might have seen some information about them in the front when you came in and registered. But Camille, I'm probably going to need some arms up here, please. There we go. The first SWAN Award goes to Nancy Robertson. Nancy is with Baptist Hospital. Her workplace nominated you to be recognized in this way because of all the extra things that you do to make a difference at the hospital. And I don't know you personally, but I'm confident in your team over here that they know exactly what they're doing, and it shows as well. So thank you for all that you do for the people you care for and for the people here. Congratulations. Thank you. Our next SWAN Award goes to someone whose face might be recognizable to a lot of you who do things on Main Street. But Discover Downtown LaGrange nominated Anna DeJus, and I hope I'm saying that right, Anna. No, tell me, when you come up, you tell me how to say it correctly, but Anna, come on up. Anna is quite an accomplished person. It's actually Dr. Anna. She has several degrees and is an avid volunteer for Discover Downtown LaGrange. She has had a very successful career in the corporate world and is passionate about growing opportunities on Main Street. So, Anna, thank you so much for all your hard work and things that
you do. People that know me know it's Ana de Jesus.
Ana de Jesus. No, well, you know, I might have been, and when you get up here, you forget because you get a little nervous. So thank you, Ana, so much. Thank you for your patience, too, on that. I know my name is Dina, and everybody calls me Deanna, so I answer to almost anything if it starts with a D. So I know how that feels. Our next award is about you, Table Host. This event was really created in a way to celebrate the women, business, and community leaders. Not just the people who own businesses, but the people who are leading our community and leading opportunities to grow Oldham County, to make a difference in the economy. And that's what this was about. A couple of years ago when we started it, we wanted to be sure that you were honored as someone who decided to make an investment in Oldham County. So it was very important to us to do that. Now we have a couple of categories of things that have been recognized, and our awards this year are sponsored by Humana. And I believe Jennifer Willis is here. Jennifer is with Humana, and we'll be presenting this year's awards. We're going to learn a little bit about all the tablescapes in just a few minutes, but I'll turn it over to Jennifer for her to present last night's awards for the voting from last night.
Great, thank you, Dina. I am Jennifer Willis with Humana, and it is an honor for us to again be the sponsor of the Tablescape Awards this year. I've been to this event at least 3 years in a row, and I am continued to be amazed at how wonderful and how creative these tablescapes have become. So I congratulate you all. I mean, it was very, very hard, I'm sure, for the people who voted because there was a lot of great creativity. So wonderful job. Could I get a round of applause for everybody that put these together? This is a great event and one that is recognized as a way to affirm, celebrate, and recognize the contributions that women make in our community, and Humana is very proud to support that. So as we award for the tablescapes, I'm going to need a little bit of assistance here because I don't have the names here. Okay. The first Tablescape Award is for the best corporate theme, and that will be awarded to Goldberg.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry.
Sorry, we forgot to write in the answer.
Sorry. The first Tablescape Award is for the best corporate theme, and that'll go to Baptist Healthcare LaGrange.
Right there, Lisa's table. Right there. Look over there.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yeah. The next award is for the Women's Tablescape Award, and that will go to Magnolia Springs East. Congratulations.
Thank you. Say, Lisa's going to take a picture right there for us.
Password, Lisa, password.
We picked someone really good.
Thank you.
And we have one more award. And this is the award for the People's Choice Award, and that goes to Goldberg Simpson. Congratulations. Yeah. Again, thank you for being part of this event and for allowing Humana to be part of this event. We are very proud to be here, and have a great time for the rest of your day.
Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer is our own in-house celebrity, as just 2 weekends ago she was a competitor in the Prospect Chamber of Commerce Dancing with Prospect Stars. So we should have had you twirl your back to the table.
All right, well, I'm Nancy Griffin. I'm with Discover Downtown LaGrange, which is our downtown revitalization project here in LaGrange. And the theme for our table today is the Spirits of LaGrange, which is our ghost tour. Our ghost tour in LaGrange is pretty well known all the way across the state. And so we try to pick one of our events each year to focus on for the celebration of Women Tablescape. And this year, that is what we have. So you can tell that we have all of the typical things that you would see. We have some of our Spirits of LaGrange coffee mugs. These are not normal coffee mugs. When you heat these up, they actually, a little ghost appears on them. So that's kind of fun. And then we have, my favorite thing on our table is the little mouse, the little rats. We try to have classy and elegant, yet fun. That's the goal we're going for. Our volunteers that helped us with this are Linda Foster and Sherry Cook. And they work with us a lot as volunteers in downtown LaGrange. So we're delighted to be here.
And I want to just take a second and let you know that this award, we've done this award a couple of years in a row. Well, really since the first year that we started the event, we would give out 2 or 3. And Tony Cotton was the publisher of the Oldham Era and became a very good friend of mine. And we had started the Celebration of Women, and he discovered this tablescape concept from another community. And we were planning this. He said, what about if we try to do something like that with your Celebration of Women event? So he and I worked together to research how it would work, how the logistics would work, and he became a champion for this event. He was also a champion for business. He was very creative. He had a business of his own, as well as working at the Oldham Era. He was a very important contributor to our community for a very short time, because he was really only here about 2.5 years. So we renamed this award in his honor to be the Tony Cotton Woman of Distinction Award. So that meant that we changed the focus of the award a little bit, and we wanted to go with, we try to honor a woman that has been entrepreneurial, who has been community-minded, who wants to be someone that is contributing and being involved in the Oldham County community. And this year, we are very honored to give that to Hope Gardner, who is with Boone Gardner Garden Center. And you can come up, Hope. Hope and her husband, Matt, are here. I don't know how much you all know about Hope, but she's a UK grad. So that's good. My car's lost it, so all the group canceling thing. But Hope is very involved in the Rotary. She and Matt have a beautiful center in Crestwood with a petting zoo now and chickens. And I've taken my kids over there. They love it. It's so fun. She does leadership in Oldham County. She's very active in lots of areas. So I congratulate you, Hope. Thank you for all that you do for the chamber and for our Oldham County economy.
Thank you. One thing that I have to say, I'm a very hometown girl. I come from a small hometown. I'm in for sales. I get really choked up easy too. Let me hold this. I'm free. And I have to say, I cannot thank Dina and the chamber. When we first moved to Oldham County, the very first thing I did was jump in the Oldham County Leadership Program because I didn't know Crestwood or Oldham County. And it really helped me get my feet on the ground here. I met wonderful people and felt like I really was able to get involved and learn about Oldham County. And if it wasn't for the chamber, the people that I met here, I don't think that I would have been able to really feel like Oldham County was home. And my husband will tell you, it's really, really hard for me to say that I would never move back home to Versailles or to Woodford County. But becoming so much involved with this county, and I really feel like now Oldham County's home. And it's hard for me to admit that I may not move back to Versailles because I couldn't ever imagine taking my kids out of the school system and leaving the friends that we've made and just missing so much of what Oldham County has to offer. And I thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be here, to be involved in Oldham County, and just really making this place feel like home to me. Thank you all very, very much.
I think we selected very well this year. Thank you, Hope. All right. I think we've covered everything. After our speaker speaks, we're going to have some door prizes, so if you don't have to rush out, please stick around and see if you pull your business card out. I am going to call on our speaker sponsor, Providence Richwood, and Jessica Safley's here. She'll introduce our speaker. We have a very wonderful Oldham County with us, and before you speak, I just want to thank Tawana for being here. She was with us all evening last night and came early today, and I'm looking forward to what you have to say about making me smarter about money. So welcome, Tawana. Jessica.
Thank you, Dina. My name's Jessica Safely, and I'm the Director of Marketing for the Providence Group. We're the proud new owners of Providence Richwood. We're a senior living and healthcare campus located right here in LaGrange behind the Kroger Shopping Center. We specialize in care and residential transitions of residents of Oldham County and surrounding counties. The campus consists of assisted living apartments, short-term rehab, and long-term care. We specialize in meeting the needs of our neighbors and guests. We are so proud to celebrate women today. And I'll tell you that the women that take care of our loved ones that we consider family are not here today, and we want to celebrate them. They are, again, our nurses are some of the finest women and caregivers. They love and support our clients like family and are committed to their well-being and optimum health. Most of them do this while attending school and caring for family of their own. Like most women, they are passionate for people, and it's an honor for them to do this work. As we are passionate about the care of our patients and families, so is our speaker, passionate about her role in helping families. Tawana Edwards is the Co-Chief Executive Officer and Chief Fiduciary Officer at the Glenview Trust Company, a locally owned and managed trust investment firm. She has been very successful in the growth of this firm since its inception in 2001. She and her team strive to deliver the highest level of service to the individuals and families that they call clients. Tawana is an honors graduate from the University of Louisville and has earned her Juris Doctorate from the Brandeis School of Law at U of L. She has many professional and personal accolades, several of which are listed in your program today. She is a proud resident of Oldham County since 2001. We are so proud and honored to have her with us today as we celebrate women and their contributions to Oldham County. Please help me in welcoming Tawana Edwards.
I have to find the clicker. Got it. Thank you, Jessica, for that very nice introduction. And thank you, Deanna and Camille, for asking me to come today. I'm very honored to be asked to present to the Chamber at this event, the Celebration of Women. It means a lot to me. Some of the roles I fill in my non-professional life include some work I'm doing to advance the status of women and girls, and I look for every opportunity to celebrate the accomplishment of women in all their roles, and there are many of them. We'll talk a little bit about that today. Usually when I am speaking to groups, I'm speaking to attorneys about some esoteric tax law or regulation, and they have to be in the room to get their CLE requirements. So I hope you'll bear with me today because I know none of you have to stay here. So I'll try not to abuse that, take it for granted. So what we're going to talk about today, assuming I can make this work, it's always a challenge. It worked. Good job, Camille. I'm going to talk today a little bit about women and finances and what we need to know. And there are a number of men in the room, and a lot of what I'm going to say is just as applicable to you, but I also, the first part of the things we're going to talk about is really some of the unique challenges that women face when they're looking at their financial scenarios and their financial planning. But all of you have mothers and daughters and wives or partners, and it's important that we all keep these extra, what I call headwinds or challenges in mind. And then I won't leave it with that, with just telling you the challenges. We'll talk a little bit about some of the steps that you can take to address those challenges. And there are many people in this room, including the sponsors, PNC Bank, who have wonderful resources that as we come to those sections, we can talk about where you can get help and get directions. I'm going to start with how women are different from men. Now, don't laugh. I mean, obviously, I know women are different from men in many ways. But what we're going to talk about today is how they're different from men financially speaking. So some key differences, and there are some key differences. We all know it's challenging to be a woman. You've heard some of that today about all the roles we play. I think it was Carolyn that talked about the challenges of being a working mother, of taking care of your family. A lot of those demands we put on ourselves. That's just part of being a woman. We think we can do it all. I want to share something that I see often. I see it on Facebook a lot, but I've seen it other places. And I need to give credit, but I don't know who to give credit to. I just want you to know it's not mine. It's not original with me. A woman must think like a man, act like a lady, because that's what my mom always told me. I didn't always achieve it, but she told me that's what you should do. Look like a young girl and work like a horse. And that has always resonated with me because I do feel like working women sometimes feel like, or actually do have to work twice as hard. But the good news is that today, women are in a better position to achieve financial security for themselves and their families than they have been in the past. So there is a lot to celebrate. More women today are successful professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and knowledgeable investors. Their economic clout, as is pointed out in some of Deanna's information in the program, their economic clout is growing. But you know, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because that describes all of you in this room. So you know the power that you have and the achievements that you've made. But let's focus on a few of the key differences. Maybe. The first one, and this seems obvious, but I think we forget about it in planning, women have a longer life expectancy. That's a good thing, right? We're going to live longer? You think so? Women live on average 4.8 years longer than men. So what that means from a financial perspective is that you have to plan for longer years in retirement. You often have to plan for long-term care situations, so our sponsor Richwood and Magnolia East. You also have to anticipate that you will spend some health care needs alone. You'll face them alone. Those are all fairly daunting challenges to face when you're considering your financial situation and your financial security, and you have to remember to incorporate those facts into your plan. And again, that's a unique aspect of what women face. The second key difference is women generally earn less and have fewer savings. And there are lots of reasons for this. And this isn't a political talk today, but as is pointed out in your program, and I have a little bit of different, some facts, but women who work year-round, full-time, earn only 81% on average of a male counterpart that's doing the same job. Now that's improving, but the sad news is they don't know if it's improving because women are earning more or men are earning less, and that's serious, that's kind of scary. In Kentucky, that wage gap is a little bit worse. It's actually 78% in Kentucky. In Oldham County, in the 2010 census information, males had a median income of $46,962, while females had a median income of $28,985, an $18,000 annual gap. So you see the dilemma. A woman generally earns less, but has longer to use her funds. She's going to live longer. And she can be more vulnerable when faced with economic obstacles, like a long-term illness, job loss, divorce, death of a partner. With less savings and less earnings, she faces more difficult challenges. Now, when we talk about the wage gap, I want to make sure that we understand there are reasons for the wage gap. And there may be good reasons for the wage gap, but you need to be aware of it. And we'll talk a little bit more when we talk about steps of things you can do to address it. And this is one of the aspects of it. Women are more likely to take career breaks for caregiving. That can have an impact on your financial security, but nobody wants to give up those choices. Those are choices that we're blessed with to have, and we're blessed that we have employers. Carolyn again mentioned PNC Bank as one of the leaders in this area of providing part-time and flex time, and many of the organizations in this room have done that to allow women to have the multiple choices that they want to have, the kind of life they want to have. And all you have to do is keep in mind that when you make those decisions, you have to plan accordingly. You have to have some adjustments in your financial plan and your picture to address the choices that you've made. Choices are a good thing. Sometimes when I hear the wage and pay equity arguments, I get a little nervous. Gail pointed this out to me as we were talking this morning with RE/MAX, that sometimes the answers make it very scary because the answers would take some of the choices away. We don't want to go backwards. But my point today is that you need to know that these facts exist when you make those choices. And I can tell you, I have a daughter, and I would not have given anything for the time I took to be off while she was born, and those first 3 months was very important. But I happened to be gone from my career at a time where some other people got to do some things that, I might have gotten to do if I were there. But I made a choice. I also made a choice to be out of my career when my sister was dying, and I would not have given anything to have not spent that time with her. So we make choices, but what you have to do is plan accordingly when you know those choices are going to have an economic impact. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, having the choice is a very good thing. Women are more likely to be, did it pop up there? No. Women are more likely to be living on their own at some point. And again, that's because they live longer. That's also because more women are making choices to not be married, and that's okay. Again, it's all about the choices that people make to have the best life that they can have. But when you make those choices or you have those circumstances where you're living alone, you have to realize in your planning that you have sole responsibility for protecting your income and making financial decisions. That can be, a unique and daunting task. Women sometimes are more conservative. Now, I'll be the first to say that sometimes that's a good thing. But you can be too conservative. You can be too conservative, and when we talk about investment decisions you make, we'll talk about why that can be a negative thing. We need our money to work for us, whether we're saving for a home, education, retirement, a trip around the world. I'd like that. If the investments that you have chosen are too conservative to allow you to achieve those goals and maximize return, then your capacity to reach any of your goals are not going to be met. So you have to balance your need to not see drips and drops in the market to knowing you have a plan and a goal. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Another key difference, and this isn't really a difference so much as an observation, as women have earned more and have accumulated their own businesses, I see many women entrepreneurs in this room, and have achieved their own investments, you have to remind, or I have to even remind myself, to do an assessment and protect those assets. We're not just talking about insurance, but when we get to the steps you can take, it's important to know that as you have more assets, you have an increasing responsibility to yourself to arrange to protect them, both personally and professionally. Without asset protection, or without a plan to protect your assets, a woman's wealth is vulnerable to taxes, lawsuits, accidents, and other financial risks that we deal with day to day. So I promised I wouldn't just point out the challenges, that I would also talk about some steps you can take to address those. So that's where we are now. Baby. Women have more financial responsibility for themselves and their families. We've talked about the fact that there are a growing number of single family households headed by women. That is increasing for whatever the reasons, even in Oldham County, where we have a lower number than most surrounding counties. We're a very family-oriented county, but even now in the 2010 census, I think there were 18% of the households were headed by single women. And we all know from the facts your brochure points out that single women raising children, head of households, and single women elderly make up a very disproportionate amount of the poverty level people in our communities, which is very scary and it's very sad. The most vulnerable who need the most tend to be in a poverty level situation. So it's very important that women know how to save and are comfortable with investing and plan for the future. So try to capture their own financial security. So here are some things they can do. Start with step 1. Camille's back there laughing at me. Take control of your money. I read a book one time and it really just fascinated me. And it was how to develop a positive relationship with your money. Doesn't that sound real out there, doesn't it? But what I like to say is you do need to have a relationship with your money. You need to know what you have, so you need to list your assets, and you need to know your liabilities, and you need to develop a personal net worth statement. You need to do that for yourself personally, your family, with your husband, with your spouse. You need to do that. You need to know where you stand. You need to get a current picture. But you also need to create a budget. And I had to laugh because I see we make up a huge amount of the consumer spending. That women have that down. We got it. And we monopolize that on an international level. But we need to create a budget. We need to know what we have coming in every month and what we have going out every month, both fixed and discretionary. And that's knowledge, and knowledge is power, and knowledge gives you the ability to make the plans you need to secure all your financial goals. This step alone, though, can be an eye-opener. I know in my company in 2002, we opened in 2001, in 2002 we got some new financial planning software. And I always try out all of our software to make sure I know what we're giving our clients and it's going to be a good product. And I went through the financial planning software myself, and I'd been remiss. I've been changing companies, and I hadn't really done it for a few years. And I was shocked. I was shocked at how much some expenses had just inched right up there, and I see the financial people in the room nodding their heads. It just inches up there. Things like cell phones. I mean, good grief, we all need to, is there any cell phone people in the room? I don't know. But you need to check your cell phone bills every month, because if you wait 2 or 3 years, it can like triple. I don't know how that happens, but it does. And then you can go renegotiate a contract and save yourself hundreds of dollars a month. It's just crazy. So I'd been remiss myself about doing that. And satellite, wireless bills, all of those kind of things, they can really just inch up. The point is, know what you're spending and reassess it periodically. After that, I was so shocked and really kind of embarrassed, because I sit and talk to people all the time about having a plan, doing a budget, and I had missed all these years. So now I have this set time in January. This is just my process. Financial planning is very individual. But every January, when I'm gathering all my tax information for the year, I look at my financial plan, see what's changed, see how much I've missed my budget, and see where I am with my financial goals, and reprioritize at that point, because now I force myself to look at it annually. I just wasn't paying close attention. Finally, you really, in addition to getting your budget and setting your goals, you need to understand what your goals are, and that certainly includes retirement planning. We've talked about all the reasons women in particular need to have a plan. But that's not likely your only goal. You're going to have some short-term goals, some long-term goals, including retirement, so prioritize those. But it's important that you implement a savings plan and an investing plan to meet those goals. You need to become a knowledgeable investor. Now, most of us invest. We might not think of it. People say, well, I've never invested in anything. I had a business owner tell me, I never do investments. And I said, oh my goodness, your biggest investment is the equity you have in your own business. It's not only huge, it's risky. I mean, you have a big investment, and you need to consider that in your overall asset plan, because if you own a business, you're heavy in the equity markets. You're heavy in your own equity market, so you need to adjust your other investments accordingly. And we'll talk a little bit about how you do that. It's so fascinating to me that 4 out of 10, 40% of women, say they have a general knowledge of investing and they don't think they're very good at it. 73% of men say they have a general knowledge of investment and they always think they're really good at it. Always. Yet when you look at retirement plan contributions, they're pretty much equal. They both know they need to contribute to their employer retirement plans. It's so funny that you have those big disparities, but yet they make the same actions. 86% of women that are offered employer plans contribute. 85% of men that are offered employer plans contribute. It's pretty equal. So what's the difference? The difference is something I think women learn at an early age, and it's confidence. And I think that holds us back in a lot of ways, and it holds us back in investing. One of the things that helps women when they are investing, and I don't know if it's because of that lack of confidence or just because they really know more than they're willing to acknowledge or accept that they know, they trade a lot less. When women do buy investments, they tend to know why they bought them, and they hold them. That helps grow assets in a number of ways. You don't have the trading cost involved when you buy and sell a lot, so that money stays invested. And you give your investments time to work so that you're not, typically if somebody trades a lot, I can almost guarantee they buy high and sell low. I can almost guarantee if you're trading a lot, unless you're a day trader, that's probably what you're doing. So if you get a plan and you know why you're holding something, then you'll feel confident that if you've had an allocation to equity, to the stock market, and it's a day when CNN and CNBC and everybody's saying, oh, the market's down, you say, I put that money, that 40% or 50% or 60%, again, whatever your plan told you, I put that in the stock market, and I knew there were going to be days like this, but I don't need that money under my plan for 10 years. It's all on paper now. It's going to come back. It's part of my plan. Now, I'm not saying as an investor, you do these things and you never look at them. That's not true. You do them, you review them every year at least, sometimes more depending on how many assets you have, to make sure that the asset allocation you've chosen, how much equity, how much fixed income, bonds, how much income producing properties, how much cash and cash equivalents, CDs, money markets, if they're in the right areas for your short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial goals that you've set yourself and prioritized. So you see why this is so individualized. Gail, who I think had to leave early, but Gail said to me, are you going to tell us like the best thing to buy so we make a lot of money? I wish can somebody in the room tell us that? It's so individual. It depends on what you want to do with your money and what your goals and objectives are. So that's really important. If you leave with nothing else, I'm really suggesting that you develop a plan, determine the asset allocation, which type of investments will allow you to best achieve that plan, and then don't react to movements in the market that cause emotional decisions to be made. We've already talked quite a bit about the steps women can take, but an essential step is to plan for retirement. Know what you plan to do in retirement. We don't know exactly when that will be, and with everything changing with Social Security, it always seems longer. It always seems like it's pushed out. But estimate what you think you're going to receive. Take those Social Security statements. I don't know if they mail them anymore. I get mine online. But look at what they're saying. For some of you younger ones in the room, I'm sorry about your luck. But most of us are still going to get Social Security. But look at it and see what they're saying. Take that and any pensions you have, if you're lucky enough to work for a company that still has a defined benefit plan, those are great things. And if you're still potentially going to have a benefit from those plans, that's wonderful. But consider all of those things and then see what gap you have. Know what amount of money you need to live on in retirement, and then you back into, again, how much money you're going to put in there and how you're going to invest it. It's not rocket science, but it does require you to work on it. This is one thing that goes back to the confidence piece, and when we have to take time out or we choose to take time out from work. I see this a lot with women that I talk to, employees that work with me. We all need to advocate for ourselves in the workplace. And I think men need to do this too. I just think women struggle with it a little bit more. Have confidence in your work ability. Advocate for your own worth. Research salary ranges. Know when you go to apply for that job what you expect to get, because you've already looked and determined what's comparable. The best thing you can do when you're starting a new job is to get as high as possible starting salary. because that depends on where your raises go from there, sometimes where your bonuses go from there. And I see so many people that are so willing to just get a job, they don't even ask. I mean, I've had women say, I'll come to work for you for whatever you want to pay me. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Tell me what you're worth. You know, I've had somebody tell me and I just laughed. I said, well, you can't work here for that. I don't even make that. But it showed me that, you know, she knew what she was worth. If you don't know what you're worth, I can tell you nobody else is going to know about that. But you also need to seek visible assignments, seek opportunities, even new business ventures, new business opportunities. You're going to have to take some risk. You know, when they decided to start the Glenview Trust Company, I was one of the founders. That was a huge risk for me. At that point, I was a single parent. My daughter was in high school at Old South Oldham. That was a huge risk. But it was also something that I said, you know, I had a backup plan. I did have a little parachute. I didn't just dive off the cliff. But it was an opportunity that I've never regretted. And I'm so glad I took it, because if I hadn't, I would have always looked back and said, wonder what, and watched these people be successful, and then I would have been jealous, and we know that's never a good thing. So take some chances. I'm almost done. Seek help to balance work and family. The other thing that I notice women in particular don't always do is, because we try to do it all, we don't always ask for help. And on the one hand, we don't always ask for help. Yet again, women are far more likely, according to statistics, to utilize professional advisors. They sort of know what they don't know, and they're willing to develop relationships and let people help them. So I guess it's that same adage, men will never ask for directions. Women are okay with that. They'll ask for direction. And that can be really helpful when you are trying to do your financial plan. There's so many resources online now. I mean, I love that PNC did that. I mean, there are calculators. You can go a long way on your own in putting in your data and figuring things out, and then you'll kind of know where you're uncomfortable. Okay, I really don't understand what investments, I really don't understand how those are charged. So then you can go find somebody you trust. Interview multiple people, just like you would choose a physician or any other advisor, and get somebody you can work with. But seek some balance. And then protect your assets. And we talked a little bit about this, but one of the things that in a financial plan that you'll do is review your insurance. You know, do you have enough life insurance? If you have children that are going to need your income, or a spouse that's going to need to replace your income if, God forbid, something happens to you prematurely, you need to look at those kind of things. Your income stream is an asset that needs protection. Just like we have to have, if you have a mortgage company, you know, they're not going to let you get away with not having insurance on their collateral. Insure your own collateral, insure your own assets, make sure it's covered. We sort of know this when we have businesses, but even with businesses, it's good to do risk assessments and know where your risks are and know what you can do to mitigate them. And I think sometimes we just forget about that step until we really need it. And the final thing, and I really can't talk anywhere without mentioning this, so I have to mention it. You need to create an estate plan. I've only been doing estate planning for 32 years. You need to create an estate plan. You need to make those plans before somebody else makes them for you. You need to have basic estate planning documents. You need to have a will. You need to have a durable power of attorney. You need to have a healthcare surrogate. You might need to have a living will. But the point is, take control yourself. Let people know what your choices are, write it down, and make a good plan. So, I've told you some of the unique challenges women face. I've told you some of the suggestions for how you can address it. And I guess that pretty much wraps it up, but I wonder if you have any questions. No questions, everybody's afraid to ask. So one of the things, Dina, can I do we have something to do the door prize?
You can do it now if you want.
Do we have some, what are they going to draw from?
She's going to get it for you.
Camille's going to. Yeah. So one of the things that I would like to do is offer a free retirement plan from one of the two CPA planners at Glenview Trust. And that, we're gonna offer that as a door prize, and it's not, we're not gonna ask you to open an account, I promise. All we're gonna do is donate a plan that would otherwise cost $3,000 or $4,000.
I'd like to ask a question.
Dina wants to ask a question.
What about insurance? You hear a lot about people talking about what kind of insurance to get, like long-term life insurance and long-term care insurance. How does that fit into the estate plan?
Well, the long-term care insurance is really a retirement planning component, because what you're planning for there is how you're going to cover your expenses when your health is in a situation where those expenses have escalated. And I will say, in most financial plans I see, the component that's always underestimated is the amount of healthcare cost. The inflationary factors on healthcare costs are through the roof, and most of the financial plans just do something higher than inflation, because healthcare has always been higher than that, but it hasn't been enough. We all haven't been able to predict how quickly healthcare is going to escalate. So long-term care policies really insure the cost of those coverages. And then, did you ask long-term? And then other insurance. So death benefits. If you need to replace income streams, for example, you would want a life insurance policy that's going to give you enough funds to replace the income stream you're generating now. So if you need to replace $50,000, you might say you need $1 million life insurance policy. It really depends on your age, again, your situation, how long you're going to need to replace the $50,000. It's all math. It's just science. It's just magical. Does that answer those questions?
My name is Gail Russell. I'm with the law firm of Goldberg Simpson, LLC, and the theme of our table is Believe in the Oldham County Chamber, because we want to be great members of the chamber and supportive, and we really think it's a great cause and great for business in the community. So we're believers. Well, I think I am a creative person, so it was kind of my idea and theme to try to come up with something that was supportive of the community and had some meaning rather than just decorating a table. So I just tried to think of what I wanted to express about the chamber, and that's where I came up with Believe, and just kind of took off from there.
We're with Baptist Health LaGrange. The theme of our table was rustic elegance, representing our women's health units at the hospital. I want to give a lot of credit to Dana and Lauren here. They came up with the idea and have worked very hard over about the last month putting things together that represent us.
I want to make two quick announcements. First, I wanted to let you know that the Arts Association and the Humane Society are hosting a reception this evening up at Gallery 104 on Main Street. Everyone's invited. And also, a lot of you have asked us about our showcase event. As you know, we moved into City Place last year, and it threw our calendar off a little bit. This event is usually held in the fall, and our showcase is usually held on this day in March, or sometimes in the last Friday. So we're a little off of our schedule right now, and we're going to try to get back on track with that, but we have pushed Showcase to May 8th. So if you are trying to mark your calendars and do your budgets, and it will be May 8th. It's a Friday. It'll be very similar to what we've done in the past. It'll be here at City Place. We'll be using the entire plaza with both pavilions, and we'll probably have a few different ways that we do things. So pay attention to your emails and the communications that we're sending out about Showcase, because it'll be all very different this year. Tawana, again, thank you for being with us. PNC Bank, thank you for sponsoring. Thank you to all the sponsors, all of the table host guests. I think you probably know you have gifts at your table. We are very grateful for your investment in this event, and it's been a great time to be with you the last 2 days. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you had a great time.